Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been here in Congress for 5 years, 5.5 years now, and we've been talking about this for all 5.5 years, and I don't see much progress being made with it. And I hear the frustration in some of your voices, but I was hoping we were going to hear today more specifics. So if you could pass the magic wand, what would it be? What's the solution? I think you started to hint towards it, but we didn't get close enough. So one of the things I'd like to try to understand is how we differentiate between privacy and national security. I don't feel that we've really come to grips with that. I don't know how many people are on both sides of that aisle. I don't care. I'm very concerned about national security as it relates to encryption. We've had, just this past weekend, there was a very provocative TV show with 60 Minutes came out about the hacking into cell phones. We had about a year ago, we all were briefed. It wasn't classified. It was where Russia hacked in and shut down the electric grid in Ukraine. The impact that could have, that a foreign government could have access to it. Just this past week, at town hall meetings back in the district, twice people raised the issue about hacking into shutting down the electric grid. And it reminded me of some testimony that had been given to us about a year ago on the very subject, when one of the presenters like yourself said that within 4 days, a group of engineers in America, or kids, could shut down the grid from Boston down through, I'm trying to think, where was it? From Boston to New York, it gets shut down in just 4 days. I'm very concerned about that where we're going with this whole issue of encryption and protection. So, Mr. Galati, if I could ask you the question, just how confident are you that the adequacy of the encryption is protecting our infrastructure in your jurisdiction?
Well, sir, cybersecurity and infrastructure is very complicated, and we have another whole section in the police department and in the city that monitors, works very closely with all the agencies such as Con Ed, DEP, and so on. We also work very closely with the FBI and their joint cyber task force to monitor cyber threats.
Okay, but my question really is how are you feel, because everyone comes in here there, and when I've gone to the Power, he's a professional hacker, he said I can break into any system. So my question more, again, back to you is, how confident are you that the system is going to work, that it's going to be protected?
Well, I think with all the agencies that are involved in trying to protect critical infrastructure, and I think that there is a big emphasis in New York, I'll speak about New York, working with multiple agencies. We're looking at vulnerabilities to the system. I do think that is an encryption issue, but again, I think what I was speaking about more when it came to encryption is more about communications and investigating crimes or terrorism-related offenses.
Just beyond your jurisdiction then on that. How about
that is not an area that I would comment.
How about you in Indiana?
When you're talking about control systems being compromised, again, we're talking about firewalls, not encryption. We're talking about the ability for someone to get inside the system, to have the password, to have the passphrase, something like that, to get the firewall. So encryption of data in motion, as an example, would not protect us from the types of things you're talking about, or being able to shut down a power grid. It's noteworthy that I saw that 60 Minutes piece, and what that particular hacker was able to exploit would not have been fixed by encryption. That is a separate system related to how our cell system works, essentially, completely separate and unrelated from the issue of encryption. So what I can say is having more robust encryption would not fix either of those problems. And I lack the background to be able to tell you specifically, do I feel confident or not confident about how the firewalls are right now in those systems you asked about.
Ms. Hess, boiler up, by the way. And so my question back to you, same to you. How would you respond to this?
Yes, sir. I think that first off, I don't think there's any such thing as 100% secure. Right. Anything as a purely secure solution. With that said, I think that it is incumbent upon all of us to build the most secure systems possible, but at the same time, we're presenting to you today the challenge that law enforcement has to be able to get or access or be provided with the information we seek pursuant to a lawful order, a warrant that has been signed by a judge to be able to get the information we seek in order to prove or to have evidence that a crime has occurred.
Thank you. Yield back my time.
Thank you. Now